You Muslim yourself?
I'm from a Muslim family, so I have a lot of respect for Islam. I'm undecided, I guess, but
Okay, so, I mean, you were born in a Muslim family.
I guess cultural Muslim. So my grandmother is a practicing Muslim.
Right.
I guess it was mostly my parents' generation they stopped, and
Okay.
so I'm very interested in Islam.
So
I
what do you
don't-
believe right now at this
Uh,
point yourself?
It changes based on my mood. I would say I do believe in God, probably. It's a God that's maybe theologically defined similarly to Islam.
Just move here a little because
yeah.
so we don't block people's ways and everything.
Is standing
Yeah.
here good?
It's okay. Yeah.
And yeah, so I guess I do probably believe in God. I would say I'm a monotheist, but I'm not really much. I'm not decided much past that.
Right. Okay. Okay. So you believe that there is one God. Well, like a lot of people who actually say that they are monotheist, they don't necessarily believe in one God. Because monotheism is not the actual translation of believing in one God. A lot of Christians, they say that they are monotheist, but then they believe in three gods. Though they don't say that they believe in three gods. Right? I'm talking to you as well at the same time. So you can pay attention. You know, so yeah, certainly, like, you know, we believe that there is one God, and then the universe didn't come into existence on its own. And we also believe at the same time that this God, he does not become the part of his creation. Right? We believe that the creator and the creation, there are two different entities.
I see.
Right? So what we believe in Islam is that God, after creating the universe, he does not just let the human beings to wander around on their own. Neither does he become the part of his creation.
I see.
What he does, he chooses a man amongst men, whom he communicates on a higher level, whom we call them as prophets and messengers. To these prophets and messengers, God sent them the revelation, the guidance, you know, to guide the human beings.
Right.
Right? I mean, every machine will have an instruction manual. And if you allow me to call human beings a machine, then it's the most complicated machine on the face of the earth. Right? So this machine definitely would need to have an instruction manual. So God gave the revelation to the prophet, and then the prophet guided the humanity through the revelation which was given to him by Almighty God. And then we believe that everything that begins to exist has to come to an end. And anything that comes to an end, there should be accountability, there should be, pros and cons for, what we have done. Because there has to be a purpose for why we've been created.
Right.
And if you ask a lot of people, why do you think you're here in this world? They'll say, we don't know. They're leading the life without any purpose.
Right.
So, and the purpose has to be an objective purpose. If you're going somewhere today, there has to be a reason why you're actually walking by that. Right? So there's a purpose, there's a reason for that. So we believe that God actually created the human beings with the purpose to worship Him. Right? And God mentions in the Quran, in one of the chapters of the Quran, Surah Dariyat, chapter 51, verse 56, God says, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ, that we have created the human beings with no other purpose but to worship me. So the purpose of our creation is to worship that God. Now, how will you be able to worship that God without identifying who that God is?
Right.
That's the reason God defines Himself in the Quran. A lot of people, when you say that you believe in God, they don't have the definition of that God. Hence why you find a lot of people worshipping this tree.
Right.
People worshipping human beings, people worshipping animals. I come from India originally. You find everything is been worshipped there. Sun, moon, monkey, elephant, animals, tree, everything has been worshipped there. Right? So what we say is that God is not the creation, but He is the creator of everything. And He defines Himself in 4-line definition. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. God says, Qul huwa Allahu ahad. Say He is Allah, God, the one and only. Allahu Samad, God the absolute, God the eternal. He has to be absolute. You cannot have a God who is dependent on something for something. You cannot have a God who has a beginning. God is always existing. He is al-awwal, whose existence is without any beginning. Right? Lam yalid wa lam yulad. He begets not, nor was He begotten. That means God, He does not have children, neither does He have any parents. He does not have sons, He does not have daughters. Why would He need to? He's the creator of everything. Everything submits to Him in full submission. Right? Walam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. There is nothing more than Him. The moment you can contain a mental picture of any being, that being cannot be God.
Right.
Right? So this is the precise 4-line definition of God. Hence why I say that a lot of people who say that they are monotheists, they believe in God, this is the definition of God that I just gave you. So see that the God who you think is God should fit in this 4-line definition. The moment you think about God, that God should fit in this 4-line definition. So the moment you think about a God, and if that God does not fit in this 4-line definition, that being is not God. God actually tells you in the Quran what God is, and He also tells you what God is not. You cannot have a being who you call as God, and then that being requires to eat, sleep, get married, lead life, and die one day. And people worship this being as God. So we know that, cross, this cannot be God. Do you have any questions, brother?
I have a question. Now, there's a verse of the Quran. I'm afraid that I don't know Arabic, so I'll have to do my best to remember the English translation. But it says, I believe, wheresoever you turn, there is the face of God. Do you know that verse?
The verse which you are actually quoting is from Surah Al-Baqarah, one of the chapters of the Quran, chapter 2, verse number 177. God says that it is not righteousness that you turn your face from east or west, but it is righteousness that you believe in Allah, that you believe in His messengers, that you believe in His books, that you believe in His angels, that you believe in life after death, and you believe in the decree, the good or bad. I'll show you that verse.
Sure.
Righteousness is not turning your face towards east or west, but rather righteousness are those who believe in God. Hence why I give references so people should not think that I'm putting a fast one. Because that adds authenticity to the conversation that we're having. Right? If I say that the Quran says, where are you going to find this in the complete Quran? Hence why whenever I mention the chapter number and the verse number so we can relate. So the God says that it is not righteousness that you turn your face from east or west, rather it is righteousness that you believe in God in the last day, His angels, His books, His prophets, and who give charity out of their cherished wealth to relatives, orphans, the poor, and everything like that. These are all the conditions that God actually mentioned.
Right.
So the reason that God actually mentioned this is because just by facing somewhere does not make you righteous. But righteousness is that you believe in the command of God. God commanded that you face towards the sacred house in Makkah, towards the Kaaba. And then you also believe in God, in one God. Not just by saying that you believe in God, but then you believe in God the way He wants you to believe in. Right? Some people might think that, okay, I worship God, but then their way of worshipping is like doing 10 sit-ups.
Right.
But that's not how what God legislated, how He should be worshipped. That's the reason He sends the prophets to tell the people how He wants to be worshipped. Right? And that's the reason the Quran, we believe, is the final revelation of Almighty God. So we believe in all the previous revelations that God sent. We believe that the Quran is not the only revelation that God sent. We believe that Prophet Muhammad is not the only prophet that God sent. God has been sending prophets since the time He has created the human beings. And we believe that the first human being that was created was Adam, peace be upon him. Right? When Adam, peace be upon him, was created, he was a prophet of God. And after that, God has been sending prophets and messengers to guide the human beings, to remind them that there is one God, to remind them that they should not be worshipping the creation, but they should be worshipping the Creator. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Do you have any question for that?
No, I don't think so. I'm just gonna look on my phone very quickly to
Yeah,
see
yeah.
if I can find the verse because I think
Definitely.
I was misremembering, but I was thinking of a different.
Yeah, definitely.